All right, let's dive into something really, well, truly mind-bending today, a real cosmic mystery. Imagine looking up, at the night sky, seeing what scientists call a comet. Something predictable, right? Following the rules. But then you hear this completely different story, almost unbelievable, really, about what it actually is.
Yeah. Something that throws the rule book right out.
Exactly. And that's where we're going today. We're talking about this interstellar object, 3I Atlas. Some people are saying it's way, way more than just, a chunk of ice and rock zipping through space.
Definitely not your standard astronomy club discussion.
No kidding. We're diving deep into claims that honestly challenge conventional science pretty fundamentally. It's a perspective that, if true, could just radically shift how we see ourselves, our place in the cosmos. Okay, so our source for this deep dive, it's pretty fascinating. It's a transmission from a YouTube channel, GFL Station, and it features someone, or rather an entity, named Meera from the Pleiadian High Council.
Right, the Pleiadian High Council. Often described in these circles as highly evolved beings from the Pleiades star cluster. Guides, essentially.
Precisely. And Meera presents what she calls an alternative higher perspective on 3I Atlas. It's directed specifically at starseeds, light workers, and awakening souls.
Terms we hear a lot in these kinds of sources. Starseeds being generally souls believed to have origins beyond Earth. Light workers, those focused on healing and raising consciousness. Awakening souls, well, people waking up to these bigger ideas.
Yeah. Now, we got to be upfront about the source, right? This is definitely stepping into spiritual, esoteric territory. It's outside mainstream science. But our mission here isn't to prove or disprove it. It's to really explore and understand what this source is telling us about 3I Atlas. What are the implications if what Meera presents is taken as true within her framework? We're just digging into the information itself today.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here, I think, is how deeply a narrative like this can, take root and resonate with people. It offers completely different lens on reality. So our job today is to really distill Meera's claims about Atlas, look at the evidence she puts forward from her perspective, and grasp the implications she sees for humanity. We're basically taking you on a guided tour through these claims, trying to give you the structure to understand this pretty monumental narrative she's painting.
A narrative suggesting a huge shift in our reality.
Right, and it brings up a big question for everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do we even process information that just fundamentally challenges everything we think we know?
Yeah.
What does it really mean to think outside the conventional box, like Meera encourages, especially when the claims are this extraordinary?
Yeah, it's a lot to chew on right from the start. Okay, so right off the bat, this is where the conventional view gets seriously challenged. Meera states, and she uses the words absolute certainty, that 3I Atlas is no ordinary comet at all. In fact, it is not a comet, full stop.
Wow, straight in. No ambiguity there.
None. And she doesn't just say it. She frames this as a pivotal moment in humanity's awakening. She's really pushing listeners to think outside the conventional box. She says there's far more to this story than the mainstream may admit. Now, just pause for a second. Imagine being told that something you see, or scientists see, as a basic fact like what a comet is actually something totally different. How would that one shift, that single idea, start to change how you see everything? Reality, the universe, yourself.
It's a profound question. It kind of forces you to reconsider the very foundation.
Right, like maybe the universe is giving us a nudge, as she puts it, a cosmic tap on the shoulder.
And she argues the clues are already there if you look differently. She encourages her audience, the ground crew and truth seekers, to look at these anomalies and read between the lines. She suggests the scientific observations themselves, when seen through her higher perspective, actually support her claim. She lays out several pieces of, let's call it evidence within her framework.
Okay, so what are these anomalies she points to?
Well, the first big one is its trajectory, its path through space. Conventionally, you'd expect a comet, especially an interstellar one, to follow a path mostly dictated by gravity, right? Often elliptical, maybe a bit unpredictable.
Makes sense.
But Meera says 3I Atlas is traveling almost perfectly along the solar system's plane. And not only that, it's set to pass near Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, all in one trip.
Huh. That does sound convenient.
Exactly. She argues that's essentially impossible by random chance. It suggests to her a deliberate, planned route, like a tourist hitting all the major sites.
A cosmic road trip.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah. And she adds another layer. It reaches its closest point to the sun, it's perihelion, on the far side from Earth. That's expected around late October 2025. She calls this a perfect spot for a spacecraft to make a hidden course adjustment or slow down.
Ah, so out of sight, potentially.
Precisely. From her view, a natural comet wouldn't choose such a strategically ideal path. Only an intelligence would plan that kind of trajectory. It defies natural probability in her eyes.
Okay, trajectory. What else?
The next point is kind of a two-parter. No outgassing, yet strange acceleration. Normally, a comet gets near the sun, the ice heats up, turns to gas sublimation, and you get that fuzzy coma, maybe a tail.
The classic comet look.
Right, and that outgassing actually pushes the comet slightly, causing non-gravitational forces, little nudges. But Meera says Atlas shows no fuzzy coma or tail of gas. It's not melting as an ice ball would, which is weird in itself if it is a comet.
Okay, so it's not behaving like one.
Exactly. But despite not having those gas jets, astronomers have noted slight non-gravitational accelerations, tiny changes in its motion.
Wait, so it's moving slightly off course, but without the gas jets to explain it.
That's Meera's point. She calls them course tweaks. And if there's no outgassing, her conclusion is, well, it must be an internal propulsion or control system at work.
Ah, like engines, basically.
Something like that, something actively guiding this object. So the lack of comet features, combined with unexplained movement, becomes evidence for artificial control in her narrative.
Okay, that's intriguing. What else is on her list?
Then there's its massive size and stable structure. Estimates put it at 20 to 30 kilometers across.
That's huge for a comet, right? Much bigger than Oumuamua.
Vastly larger. And Meera argues that a natural object that big, especially if it's icy like a comet, should be showing signs of stress. It should break apart or at least shed tons of material as it gets closer to the sun and deals with gravitational forces.
Like a giant snowball getting blasted.
Pretty much. But she says it's stable, it's holding together.
Which suggests...
To her, it suggests a solid, possibly artificial structure. Something engineered, not just naturally formed. Its sheer size, combined with its stability, becomes another pointer towards an artificial origin.
Okay, size and stability. Anything else on the physical side?
Yes. She mentions unusual light emissions and energy signals, potential technosignature. She says telescopes have allegedly picked up unusual light emissions and energy signals from 3I Atlas that cannot be explained by sunlight alone.
Not just reflected sunlight, then.
Right. For Meera, this isn't just some odd glow. It could be the glow of a power source or propulsion. A technological fingerprint, basically, pointing straight to an artificial origin. It's an active signal of technology in her view.
Wow. Okay, so we have trajectory, lack of outgassing with acceleration, size, stability, light signals. Quite a list.
And she adds one more layer, which fits the source. Intuitive and psychic perceptions. She claims that skilled remote viewers and sensitives on Earth, people believed to have, heightened psychic awareness, have independently perceived that this object is guided by intelligence.
You're seeing it's a craft.
Reportedly, yes.
Oh.
Describing a large craft under control, not a mindless rock. She also adds that many starseeds, those folks we mentioned earlier, feel in their hearts that this is a cosmic messenger.
So adding an intuitive or spiritual layer of evidence to the physical anomalies.
Exactly. It aligns with the overall perspective of the source, suggesting truth can be perceived on multiple levels, externally observed and internally felt.
Okay. So bring all those threads together. What's the big picture Meera paints? She basically says, look, you take the path, the weird behavior, the lack of a coma, the unexplained nudges, the sheer size, the stability, the energy signals, and these psychic feelings. It all forms a coherent picture.
A picture pointing in one direction.
Yeah, pointing to intelligent control. She doesn't hold back. She says, I can confirm this unequivocally. From our vantage, we see it maneuvering and emitting energy exactly as an advanced craft would. She even adds that open-minded scientists on your world are now admitting the alien possibility, suggesting the mainstream is starting to catch up, maybe.
A hint that the dam might be breaking.
Right. She sees it as the universe basically giving humanity a nudge, presenting something undeniable. So let's pause again. Step into that view. What if these clues are that nudge? If this claim, however extraordinary, turned out to be true, how does that reshape everything? Our science, our reality, our place in it all?
It really forces a paradigm shift, doesn't it? The implications are just staggering. We're not alone, and the evidence might be cruising past Jupiter right now.
Gives you serious pause for thought. Okay, so if we follow Meera's line of thinking, and Atlas is indeed a guided craft, the obvious next question is, well, who's driving? And why are they here?
A multi-trillion-dollar question, right?
Exactly. And Meera answers it very directly, apparently with a lot of joy. She states, 3A Atlas is a Galactic Federation ship. She emphasizes it's here, under the command of advanced, benevolent beings, and it is absolutely under intelligent control.
So not just any intelligence, but specifically the Galactic Federation.
Right. The core idea is this interstellar craft did not wander randomly into our solar system. No accident. It was sent here on a mission by the Galactic Federation of Light. And just to remind everyone, she describes the Galactic Federation of Light, or GFL, as this huge alliance of many advanced extraterrestrial civilizations.
She names names too, right? Pleiadians, Arcturans, Andromedans.
Yep. Pleiadians, like herself, Arcturans often seen as healers or teachers, Andromedans as wise, ancient beings focused on freedom, all described as highly evolved, benevolent races.
And their whole purpose, according to this narrative.
Their stated purpose is being devoted to assisting planets like Earth in their evolution, their spiritual growth. So it's a deliberate, planned mission by a benevolent alliance.
Which frames the whole encounter very differently than, say, a random object or a potential threat.
Completely different. It sets a tone of purpose and positive intent.
And building on that, Meera sees this arrival as a really strong sign that something bigger is coming, that greater contact is approaching. She suggests that humanity's collective vibration and awareness have risen enough now. We're ready, apparently, for a gentle introduction to the galactic neighborhood.
So it's timed. Not random, but part of a plan keyed to our readiness.
That's the idea. A gradual unveiling, not a sudden shock to the system. It respects our current state of consciousness, according to her. And she really doubles down on the benevolent intentions. She reassures listeners that the ship is under positive control. It's definitely not a rogue asteroid or an Anunnaki doom planet.
Okay, good to know. No doom planets. The Anunnaki reference that pops up in some alternative history narratives, sometimes not so positively, right?
Correct. Often depicted as ancient ETs with complex, sometimes exploitative interactions with Earth, Meera is explicitly countering that kind of fear narrative here.
So she's saying, trust us. These are the good guys.
Essentially, yes. She says Alice is a Federation craft crewed by beings of light who are in service to the divine and to the plan of Earth's awakening. Foundational trust. She gets specific about its actions, too. Every move it makes is deliberate. Those slight course changes, that's fine-tuning its path. The flybys of planets like Venus and Mars, that's gathering data and also subtly influencing energetic grids.
Influencing energy grids? What does that imply?
She suggests Earth has planetary energy fields, lane lines, that sort of thing, and the ship is perhaps using its technology or frequency to balance or uplift those grids, sending positive energy.
Okay, so it's actively helping, even just by flying by.
That's the claim. The ship is effectively saying hello by its presence. It's an emissary, an observer, not an invader. It's not hiding, but not forcing itself on us either. And crucially, she says, as it travels, it is transmitting loving, high-frequency energies to assist Earth's awakening.
Actively broadcasting good vibes, basically.
You could put it that way. She says many sensitives feel this as an uplifting vibration, a gentle cosmic calmness, a tangible positive influence.
Okay, but if they're friendly, why the disguise? Why pretend to be a comet?
That's a key point she addresses under respecting free will and mitigating harm. Her answer is straightforward. It's to respect our free will and avoid causing shock.
So appearing as a natural object lowers the panic factor.
Exactly. It prompts discussion and curiosity rather than panic. It allows humanity time to adjust gradually to the idea of an ET presence. A slow reveal, not a sudden, potentially terrifying unveiling.
Makes a certain kind of sense from that perspective. Less societal disruption.
Right. And she adds strong reassurance.
Yeah.
The ship poses no threat whatsoever. In fact, she claims it has likely already prevented harm. She says it's actively monitoring Earth and even quietly mitigating some space hazards, like neutralizing dangerous solar flares or cleaning up space debris near Earth.
So it's acting like a guardian almost.
That's the picture she paints.
Yeah.
Coming in service, not conquest. She mentions again that sensitives feel a loving new frequency, interpreting it as the ship broadcasting supportive energy to calm humanity's subconscious and reduce fear. It's a very subtle, energetic form of assistance.
Okay, this is fascinating, but let's get practical. Who is on this ship, according to Meera? Are there actual beings steering it? And what's this higher dimensional state thing?
She tackles that directly. Yes, she confirms there is a crew. Living beings are guiding that vessel. She says they are members of the Galactic Federation, including Pleiadian's own people, and several other races working together.
So a mixed crew from different star systems.
Apparently. And the higher dimensional state part. She explains they operate in a higher dimensional state, meaning their vibrational frequency is beyond our normal physical senses. That's why it may appear as if there is no one on board if we just use our current instruments or eyes. But they are there, she insists, as friends and helpers, watching us with immense love.
Okay, existing on a different frequency. And this mission, it's not just them acting alone.
No, she stresses the divine coordination. Yeah. She says this entire mission is coordinated with divine timing and Earth's own spiritual councils.
Divine timing, like a cosmically perfect timing. And Earth's spiritual councils, like guardian spirits or something.
Pretty much. Divine timing implies it's all happening exactly when it's meant to, according to a larger cosmic plan. And the spiritual councils would be, higher dimensional guides or groups overseeing Earth's evolution. She says nothing is random. And importantly, she adds, we have clearance from Source and the cosmic hierarchy to intervene more openly now.
Source, meaning God or the ultimate creator, and cosmic hierarchy, like galactic management.
That's the usual interpretation, yes. And the reason for the clearance? Because humanity's collective free will through your prayers and readiness is calling for it.
Wow. So we actually invited this. Our collective thoughts and desires open the door.
That's a core part of her message. Our consciousness is a key factor. Our readiness makes this possible.
That shifts the dynamic quite a bit. We're not just passive observers.
Not at all. And what's really fascinating here is her claim that subtle interactions are already happening. She says the ship has been communicating via coded signals, and notes that some scientists detected odd radio bursts coming from it.
Radio bursts, like the fast radio bursts people talk about, or something else.
She doesn't specify, just odd radio bursts. But beyond that, she suggests personal experiences too. Many of you have probably received telepathic greetings or vivid dreams due to its presence.
Whoa. Direct mind-to-mind contact or dream messages.
That's the implication. A connection already being established, even if unconsciously for many. A whisper before the shout, perhaps?
Okay.
And this all leads to her main point here. Open contact is not far off. This ship is laying the groundwork. The idea is, if humanity responds well with curiosity and peace, then the Federation is prepared to take further steps, such as clear communications or visible appearances.
So it's a phased approach, depending on our reaction.
Seems so. Our collective response is crucial. Which really makes you think, doesn't it? Consider that idea. We're not just watching this unfold, we are active participants. Our collective consciousness, our curiosity, our calls for truth, our peaceful intent. These could actually be influencing how and when this contact happens.
That's a huge responsibility and an incredible potential power for us as a species. It changes the whole game.
Okay, so we have this ship, this mission, this potential for contact. But how are things playing out here on Earth? What about the powers that be, the media? How are they responding, according to Meera?
Right, the Earth-side reaction, this is where it gets complex, involving control, potential deception, but also hope. Meera brings up something many might have seen in the news. A Harvard astronomer, she doesn't name him, but it strongly implies Avi Loeb, who publicly speculated 3IE Atlas might be an alien mothership.
Yeah, I remember seeing headlines about that. He also mentioned it might arrive near Earth around late November.
Exactly. And Meera calls it remarkable that a mainstream scientist is saying this out loud. She sees it as significant, a crack in the official narrative.
A sign of validation, perhaps.
But then she immediately pivots to the media's reaction. She observes how media headlines spun his words into extremes of salvation or destruction.
The classic media hype cycle. Right. She calls it polarizing, framing hope or doom. And she suggests this isn't accidental. It sets the stage for intentional narrative control.
Meaning someone wants us to see it in those extreme black and white terms.
That's precisely her argument. She says this framing is a tactic of the powers that were. The Cabal.
The Cabal again, this shadowy group trying to maintain control.
Yes. She describes them as a clandestine elite who've historically manipulated global events and information. And she claims they are aware of this object and they want to control the narrative.
Why? What's their fear?
They fear the awakening. They fear losing control if humanity realizes the truth about ET presence and our own potential. So they need to manage how we perceive Atlas.
Okay, so how might they try to control the narrative? What's their playbook, according to Meera?
This is where she brings up Project Bluebeam and fear-mongering. She states the Dark Cabal has a known agenda called Project Bluebeam. She describes it as a pretty terrifying plan to use fake alien threats via holograms or advanced drones to scare people into submission and maintain control.
Wow, okay. Like faking an alien invasion to unite humanity under their control or something like that? Sounds like science fiction.
It does, but Meera presents it as a serious potential strategy for them, especially if they feel threatened. She suspects they might try to stage some false alien attack or create alarming incidents and blame them on this interstellar object.
Use Atlas as a scapegoat for a manufactured crisis.
Exactly. Push a narrative of danger to justify militarization or a global authority. Basically, weaponize our natural curiosity, twist it into fear to consolidate power.
That's a pretty dark scenario. Does she offer any hope against that?
Yes, absolutely. She offers strong reassurance about countering this deception. She states very clearly, the Galactic Federation will not allow any fake invasion or catastrophic false flag to succeed.
How? How could they stop it?
She claims, we have the ability to disable the Cabal's holographic tech or secret weapons if they attempt to use them in this way, a technological countermeasure.
Okay, so the Federation can intervene to prevent a large-scale deception.
That's the assurance. However, she does warn that while the Cabal's ability to pull off something huge is dwindling daily, they might still resort to subtler fear-mongering. Like what? Like planting increased UFO scary stories, or having authoritative-sounding voices urging humanity to be afraid of this object. She calls it all propaganda, designed purely to incite fear because a fearful populace is easier to control.
Right. So how do we, the listeners, navigate this potential minefield of information and disinformation?
Her core advice is discernment. She says, ask yourself who benefits from making us scared of this. If a narrative is pushing panic, it's likely Cabal influenced. By contrast, if a narrative invites open-minded exploration and unity, it likely comes from truth and light.
So follow the energy, fear versus hope and curiosity.
That's the essence of it. And she circles back to the Harvard scientist, clarifying he likely spoke sincerely from his analysis, but warns the Cabal-led media will use even sincere statements for their ends, twisting them towards fear.
So even genuine science can get caught in this information war.
It seems so, according to this perspective.
Okay, that's the dark side of the picture. But you mentioned hope. Meera talks about positive forces too, right?
Yes, and this is a really encouraging part of her message. She reveals the existence of a positive Earth alliance. She calls them the so-called white hats.
White hats, people inside governments, militaries, institutions working for good, often behind the scenes.
Exactly, and she says this alliance is very much aware of the Galactic Federation's presence. It's not just awareness, though. She says something huge is happening. A new coalition is forming between your Earth Alliance and the Galactic Federation as we speak.
Wow, an actual alliance between Earth insiders and the Federation.
That's the claim. She says for a long time, Federation support was quiet and indirect, just guiding these white hats. But the arrival of 3i Atlas has galvanized discussions at high levels.
Atlas is acting as a catalyst for this cooperation.
Precisely. She explains, positive factions within governments and militaries have taken notice that this is likely an ET craft, and they are not reacting with hostility but with hope. This is a major shift. She says quiet communications and planning are underway right now between these Earth leaders and Federation contacts.
So direct talks are happening.
Yes, and she emphasizes the significance. First time in modern history, humanity's leadership and galactic leadership are beginning to coordinate openly, sharing a common goal, a peaceful and smooth transition to a free and awakened Earth.
Just imagine that, real cooperation, Earth and off-world groups working together for humanity's benefit. Kind of blows your mind.
It's a powerful image. And what's fascinating here is the promise of what this alliance means. Accelerated liberation and future disclosures. Meera says with direct Federation support, the final stages of this liberation will accelerate. This means advanced galactic assistance in neutralizing the last vestiges of negative control. The Cabal's days are numbered, essentially.
And this alliance is happening because of us.
That's what she stresses. It's thanks to the awakening people of Earth. She says, by raising your consciousness and demanding truth, you created the opening for our cooperation. Your prayers, your meditations have literally invited the Federation to engage more directly.
Again, highlighting our active role. We're not just passengers.
Absolutely not. We're co-creators. And the tangible results. She predicts swifter disclosure of hidden truths.
Like what kind of truths?
Truths about our real history, suppressed technologies, the cosmos itself. She also expects the unveiling of advanced technologies for clean energy, healing, etc. that have been suppressed by the Cabal.
Free energy, advanced healing. The things people often talk about being hidden.
Exactly. And also a more unified global movement toward peace as these truths emerge. The Federation is apparently advising and supporting the Alliance to make sure disclosure rolls out more smoothly, preparing humanity.
How might we see signs of this?
She suggests we might start hearing subtle hints in official statements. Maybe mentions of our friends upstairs, or sort of veiled acknowledgments of help. The end goal. Eventually, a formal announcement of Galactic Federation contact will come. A complete game changer.
A formal announcement.
Yes. This whole alliance is presented as the pathway to that, leading humanity into the galactic community. Which really makes you think, what if the biggest secrets, the technologies, the truth about our place in the universe are about to come out? Not through leaks, but through a coordinated effort between Earth's best and our galactic neighbors.
How would that reshape, well, everything? Our lives, our potential, our future. It's almost too big to grasp. Okay, so this alliance is forming, things are accelerating. But Meera points to a specific time frame, doesn't she? This October window.
Yes, she really zeroes in on October 2025, calling it a pivotal period in this unfolding story. The idea is by that time, the ship 3I Atlas will be nearing the inner solar system, close to the fun for intense observation.
And public interest would be huge by then, presumably.
Exactly. She predicts public interest will be at its peak. And crucially, she believes enough anomalies will have accumulated that mainstream scientists and officials cannot dismiss them.
The evidence becomes undeniable, basically. The elephant in the cosmic living room.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Setting the stage for a major shift in awareness. The veil thins, perhaps.
So what specific developments does she foresee around that time? What actually happens in this October window?
What's really fascinating here is the sequence she lays out. It seems like a planned step-by-step reveal. First, she anticipates official scientific acknowledgement. She says, we could see an official scientific announcement acknowledging in careful words that 3 Atlas is behaving in ways not seen before.
Careful words. So not necessarily saying it's aliens right away.
Probably not. More like, this object is exhibiting non-gravitational acceleration inconsistent with known cometary models, or something technical like that. The purpose, she says, is essentially preparing the public for the extraterrestrial possibility. A gentle nudge, acclimatizing people to the idea.
Okay, so science acknowledges the anomaly. What's next?
Then comes the potential big one. Unmistakable confirmation. Meera suggests, around the end of October when the object swings around the sun, the ship may do something unmistakable, perhaps alter its course or speed in a dramatic way.
Not just a subtle tweak, but something obvious.
Something undeniable, a maneuver that just screams intelligent control, defying any natural explanation for a comet. She explains, if and when that happens, it will effectively confirm that it's under control. Everyone would see it. The world's telescopes would notice, and that could become the moment of, yes, this is not a comet.
The smoking gun, observed globally.
That's the potential scenario she paints. The moment of irrefutable proof.
And this is where the Earth Alliance comes back in. How do they leverage this moment?
Right, their role becomes critical here. Meera says the Earth Alliance is aware of this timeline. They know this potential confirmation is coming, so they might use the October window to push further disclosure initiatives.
Like what? Coordinated leaks, official announcements.
Maybe new government hearings or whistleblowers releasing evidence about UFOs and secret programs, timed perfectly with the massive public focus on Atlas.
Ah, using the spotlight on Atlas to reveal other hidden truths.
Exactly. She calls it potentially Disclosure Month on multiple fronts, a convergence of revelations. She imagines that by late October or early November, the truth might be out in the open. The general public may be openly aware that we are dealing with an extraterrestrial situation.
How would that official reveal happen? Would governments just say it?
She suggests maybe world governments or perhaps an international body might make a measured statement. Something like, we have detected what appears to be advanced technology associated with this object.
Still cautious, but acknowledging the reality.
Yes. And that moment, she stresses, will mark a turning point in human history, official acknowledgement of ET presence.
Wow. Just think about that headline. How would humanity react? The initial shock, the excitement, the fear, the philosophical questions, it would change everything overnight, wouldn't it? Our identity, our future.
A profound societal reset. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, Meera doesn't forget the Cabal. What are they doing during all this? She anticipates they might attempt distractions or scare tactics around October 2025, try to muddy the waters, create fear.
Desperate measures.
Perhaps. But she seems confident these attempts will likely either fail or actually hasten the awakening. She makes an interesting point. Ironically, any extreme move from them tends to backfire by waking more people up. Their attempts at control might just push people towards the truth faster.
Like a cosmic Streisand effect.
Huh? Maybe. So what's her advice for us regular folks during this potentially intense period? She urges listeners to be prepared and centered. Acknowledge that major revelations can be emotionally intense for many.
Stay calm amidst the storm.
Essentially, your steadiness will be needed. Her practical advice: keep yourselves grounded and help those around you to stay calm and positive if sudden news breaks. Also, stay flexible and stocked with patience. Society might get a bit chaotic, a bit of frenzy or confusion as the old worldview crumbles.
But frame it positively.
Yes, she insists. Remember, this is a joyous breakthrough, not a catastrophe. She adds, many of you have waited and worked your whole lives for the truth to emerge. That time is upon us. It's a call to be anchors of stability and hope.
So, looking beyond the potential turbulence of that moment, what's the ultimate outcome Meera envisions?
She sees this period, October 2025 and beyond, as likely to be remembered as the moment humanity stepped into the larger universe.
Becoming part of the galactic community, officially.
Right. But she emphasizes it's deeper than just spaceships or announcements. Ultimately, this is not just about lights in the sky or government announcements. It's about the heart of humanity opening.
A consciousness shift.
Exactly. She believes when people collectively realize we are not alone, it will trigger a profound expansion of consciousness.
And the result of that?
Potential for great unity. Fear of our differences can dissolve as we all face a new reality together. A great unity can emerge. A chance to finally see ourselves as one human family, facing the cosmos together. #outro. So just to pull it all together, what's fascinating here is the sheer breadth of this narrative Meera presents. It's really quite something. We've gone from a three-eye atlas being identified not as a comet, but as an intelligently guided Galactic Federation ship.
Right, with all that evidence, the trajectory, the lack of outgassing, the size, the signals, the psychic stuff.
Exactly. Then we explored its alleged benevolent mission. A gentle introduction, respecting free will, actively assisting Earth's awakening, even mitigating hazards.
And the complex dynamic on Earth, the Cabal trying to sow fear with things like Project Bluebeam, countered by this emerging Earth alliance working with the Federation.
An alliance paving the way for accelerated liberation, disclosure of truths in tech, all culminating in this potential October 2025 window.
A turning point, possibly involving undeniable confirmation and official acknowledgement of ET presence.
The whole thing presented as a meticulously coordinated divine plan unfolding to liberate and uplift Earth, which Meera confidently states is succeeding. It's quite the cosmic saga.
It really is. So let's bring this back to you, the listener. Meera really stresses your role in all this, doesn't she?
Absolutely. She calls the listeners the light bearers, key players in this plan.
And her advice is pretty clear. Anchor, calm, and truth. Be the steady ones. She says if others are panicking or confused, your compassion and reassurance will be invaluable. It's about service, not ego. Stay humble and heart-led through it all. This isn't about I told you so. It's about welcoming our human family into a greater truth.
A call for compassionate leadership during a potentially turbulent transition.
Yeah, and she ends with that reinforcing idea. Humans and galactics alike moving into unity. Your presence, your state of being is part of making that happen, according to her.
Which leads us to a final, pretty profound question to leave you with. If this narrative, Three-Eye Atlas, as a benevolent Federation emissary, this whole story of contact and awakening, if it is true, and we really are on the verge of joining a galactic community, how deeply would that change everything? Our daily lives, our societies, our understanding of what it even means to be human and what our potential is.
Imagine that world beyond the few bumps she mentions. The golden age dawning.
What would you do with the undeniable knowledge that you are a citizen of the cosmos? What responsibilities, what opportunities, what transformations would that bring? Something to really ponder.